new friends, my dearest friends from Kiss FM days.
That's right.
Yes, Mike Shannon and Trev Hollywood.
Man.
And we all knew Skeletor so well. Like, we were all close. Skeletor
Right.
was funny as all
But-
hell.
It was hilarious. Hilarious.
Hilarious.
Funny memories. Some that probably shouldn't be told on the radio.
No, we can't tell some of these memories.
It's like that.
Seriously. But one thing I will say that I remember about Trev was his kind spirit, soft-spoken voice. I've never seen him mad.
Well, you know, Nat, I said the same thing. I said I've never seen him in an argument. He's never raised
Never.
his voice. He's never, you know. Wow, just so peaceful and just a good spirit, you know, good energy. Just wow. And
He knew those boards, though. I tell you that.
He knew that studio in his sleep. Okay.
Yes, he might not know how to do production, but he knew how to run a board. No, he used to have Wendy's show sounding real tight.
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that I remember when I first got to Kiss, I used to have to fill in for Wendy on the top 8 at 8 sometimes.
Right.
And it show, if you did it the right way, you needed some help. If you were going to do that show the right way, you needed him in there to help get those calls together. Because, you know, in those days, we were still using a reel-to-reel.
Right.
He'd be there getting those calls together and splicing them up, putting them together. Sometimes it'd be like seconds left to get it on. And he was right there, and he was necessary. You know, you couldn't do that show the right way without skill.
Yes, we're talking to Mike Shannon right now. Yeah, Skeletor was, his charisma was different. Like, it's hard to explain. He was like he was a child.
A man.
But yes, he was a child for Vinnie Brown and Toya.
Right.
He used to be able to do and get away with whatever he wanted. Every time he came around to the office, the answer was always no at first. And then he would plead his case, and in 5 minutes it turned into a maybe. And then 2 minutes later, you'd be like, yo, Skel, how did you get those tickets? Or how did you get a shift?
Right. Man, it's a funny story. You know, Skeletor used to hang. He would party all night long.
Oh, party and sleep at the station.
Right. Well, wait. Well, he partied all night long one night, and he came into the station and fell asleep and slept through the whole shift.
Okay.
Our program director, Toya, came and woke him up. It's like, you know, you slept through the whole shift. And he said, Mike, I had the nerve to ask her, could I have the next day off? And she was like, well, you can have the next few days off because you're suspended. He was hilarious.
That's a professional guy.
Yo, Skeletor is like that, though. And he was like, okay. And I bet you he went back to sleep, didn't he?
Probably so.
Hilarious.
He was always so fun. Remember Natalie? Naturally is her DJ name, Natalie Bowen.
Right.
Yo, her and Skel was really, really close.
They were. I remember that.
And when he used to come in the studio, and oh my God, we had the best jokes. Skel was entertaining for real. He was very entertaining. Trev Hollywood, what is your memories of Skeletor? I know we have a lot, but
I'm gonna tell you the truth. And I say this respectfully, but Skel didn't like me at first. At all.
I know y'all had a little bit of a little friction. I think it was because you was doing a lot for Wendy. He probably felt threatened.
Yeah, that's
Probably.
Yeah, and y'all had the same name too.
Right.
I started calling me Trevor the intern so they could differentiate.
Right. That's how you got Trev the intern. Even though you had a full-time job, part-time job, we still called you Trev the intern.
Yeah, but he didn't care for me at first, and he made it clear. Because, you know, I was young and naive at the time, and I didn't realize that, you know, a lot of people on the radio, they not help you. You're going to have to think or swim, learn on your own.
Yeah, definitely. That's the truth.
Right. So I would do stuff like ask them. You know, I already had a background in like running control boards, but more so for like
radio.
Not necessarily radio.
Right.
So radio was slightly different.
Right.
So every once in a while, I would ask him, "Yo, what's this do? Or what's that do?" And his answer was always, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, yeah, figure it
And
out.
I seen his face when you just did that. Yo, I saw, and he always had that blank face, like,
Right.
So if
yeah, that was it.
all right, he ain't gonna tell me nothing, so I'm gonna just my own. And I actually ordered the at the time they didn't have like Google or social media or whatever. So
Right.
I ordered the manuals for the control board, and I said, let me just learn it from that. Ordered the book, learn how to run the boards from just reading the manual. And I just sat in the corner every day, and I watched the clock. So whatever he did, I just watched the clock. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask him a question because I already know he feel kind of threatened. And he actually at one point he went to the program director Vinny Brown at the time, and he told Vinny that he didn't want me in the studio no more.
Yeah, because he watching me. He watching me.
For like months, and I was just working in the office.
Right.
But at the office, I started. This is when like all like the publicists and agents and whoever used to call the office. So I started collecting everybody's names and number. So
It was smart.
that's really how. So once I got to, I knew all of those people from having spoken to them on the phone.
Right.
I remember years later, I ran into him at we were at a party for Mary Blige up in New Rochelle, and he was there at the bar. So I stopped and talked to him for a minute. So we
That's Trev Hollywood speaking right now, y'all.
yeah, so we drinking like, yo, wait, I used to treat you back in the day. Yo, I popped, but I just yeah, because they did acknowledge, just threatened by my presence. And I explained to him, I wasn't trying to take your job. I was just trying to do me because I had the opportunity. I wasn't even thinking about you. So we squashed thing from there. And just like you said earlier, he would disappear for literally years at a time.
Yeah, he would disappear years at a time.
I think he went.
Where the hell is Skeletor?
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Skeletor was just like that. He was just that type of spirit. Like he would just he only wanted to be seen when he wanted to be seen.
Exactly.
Popped up like a couple of months ago, right after the whole Wendy.
Right, he was back.
Right.
He hit me up on Facebook, but I thought it was a fake page because I got people I'm friends with already, and I still get friend requests from them. So I'm like, I know this is a fake page, so I thought it was fake. But then I realized that it wasn't. And he seemed like he looked healthy and everything. He looked like he was better.
He did look healthy. He was all having fun with Miss Jones on the podcast because I watched it.
Right.
And he was having fun, and I thought things was going well. So, with this day and age, you can never tell. Like people our age are having heart attacks, having strokes,
Man strokes, yes.
Yes, and we don't know what happened. And I was going through his Facebook page, like somebody say something.
Right.
And nobody said anything because they don't know. They really don't know.
Yeah, his mom doesn't even know. He just, from what she told me, he passed away Monday in his home, and she doesn't know. They're waiting on autopsy results, and they can take a while sometimes.
That takes a while, to do the testing. Yeah.
But the thing is, he was consistent with this whole like oral, like everything about him to me always a big mystery. Like
yeah, he was very private.
Yeah.
The only person that I seen him open up to, and I don't even think he opened up to Wendy, was Natalie Bowen.
Yeah, because they would have some discussions in that production.
They had some deep discussions. Sometimes I would walk in and you could tell they didn't want me to hear some of the stuff.
Right.
And then there's other times where he felt free to say whatever because he noticed that I wasn't going to say anything. And that production studio, by the way, was like people's escape.
That was fun.
And it was people's therapy. Even when Natalie Bowen left, everybody used to come. Now I'm just going to chill here for a while. They would just come sit in the studio, and I'll just be doing my production, and they just start talking. I'm like, word.
I used to do it.
That. You remember every day I would come in. That was the first place I go with my food. Go right in there.
Right in the corner, right by the microphones. Yep.
But let me just, if you don't mind me just saying, despite the fact that we ain't really get off to a good start, I still always had like a tremendous amount of respect for him because I saw how tight he ran the boards. I remember he used to he used to. This is at the time when we had digital cars, so it wasn't like you could open it now and put on autopilot.
Right.
He would up running, go to another room somewhere, be doing something else,
And come back in like a minute and a half.
like,
And always had Wendy's stories ready.
and he'd be right back in the studio like 2 or 3 seconds.
And had the right phone calls.
Right, yeah. Well, he knew he had to be on point for her show, and you know they worked well.
But he also did Vi Vigorson too, and he trained me doing her show. So when he was out, I would cover for her, and he knew how to make her sound good because Vi was always doing writing her plays.
Right.
She was writing her plays on the phone on a conference call, and he'd be like, "Hey, 98.7 Kisses by Higginson," and then she'd be right back. And when I would cover for him, I would be like, "If this," and then she would look at me after I gave her the signal, like it's time to call. I would put her mic up, and she'd be like, "I told you."
Wow.
What'd you say, Trav?
Speaking of Vi Higginson, I remember I used to run her boards too. One thing I remember about her, she used to empty her pocketbook.
Yes.
Everything.
All across the board.
Shoes all on everywhere.
Shoes everywhere. All her paperwork on.
Oh my God.
And none of the paperwork had nothing to do with the radio show.
Right.
It was all her plays that she was writing, all the rehearsal times, all the people she needed to call to sponsor the play. Yo, that lady was something else. She was not in the room when she was in the room.
Right.
It was just a check for her and a way to promote her plays.
That's
And
right.
after a while, Toya was like, "Girl, you got to go."
Love the vibe. She's a legend.
Love Vi Higginson, yeah, she is a definite, and yeah, she's a legend for sure. But yeah, Scout had her sounding great,
Oh,
even
yeah.
though she wasn't focused.
Right.
Nobody could do that but him.
He was definitely nice with it. Like you can't take that away from him, and that's what made him Skeletor. Like even before radio, I was like a fan of his.
Yeah.
You know, at the top 8 at 8. I remember when I got my internship, I couldn't even believe I was in the same room with them. I'm like, yo, this is something else right here. I looked up to him, you know, like in that sense.
Yo, but he was always so much fun.
The funny thing about it, you know, this is before I came to New York and got on the radio, I would come down and I would hear he and Wendy on the radio. And when I heard the name Skeletor, I thought he was this big dude, you know. I mean,
Scout was a skinny little dude.
I never equated Skeletor with skeleton, you know what I mean? I don't know if that was it just sounded like a big, like Skeletor, you know. And I was like, that Skeletor? When I come back, that's
But
it.
you know, his voice was pretty deep though.
Right,
for a little
right,
guy.
right.
For a little guy, he did have that deep Skeletor voice. But he was so, even with that deep voice, he was still so soft spoken.
Right.
And he never got mad. Ever.
Never.
Even when he was mad, you could tell he was mad.
Right.
Yeah, just, I knew when he was pissed off or something because he would literally give me the silent treatment, like
Right.
said to me because I think I might have said what's up to him like one too many times in the morning. And he said this. He said, "Yo, you don't have to speak to me every time you see me."
Yeah, that sounds like him.
Funny.
Stayed in the corner. I just kept quiet for the next couple months and I just watched the clock.
I know Trevor, I remember you used to tell me sometimes, like, I don't know, Wendy and Skell being mean to me today. And I said, well, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Just go in there. The hell you got to do.
Yeah, that was.
You know me. I was like, F them if they want to act funny. Those are my peeps, but the hell with them. If they acting funny, just go in there and do what the hell you got to do.
Right. That was one thing, though. Wendy always knew that Skell had her back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She didn't have any other producer like Skell. I mean, I know you worked with her too, Trev, but you did more the production side of things. I know you ran the board every once in a while, but I'm not going to front. After Skell left her, I really felt like there was a difference with Wendy and the way she sounded on the radio.
Yeah.
And they of like a personal connection too.
Yeah, it was a personal vibe that she had.
Yes.
I didn't have that same connection with her. We was cool and everything, but
yeah, and even Charlamagne and Wendy at that point, I know they don't really speak right now, but there wasn't no connection like that, like Skell had with her.
Right.
If Skell understood her,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they were always together.
Yeah.
Estelle was her right and left hand.
Right, and
Bodies everywhere.
also because I think she also understood him too,
Right.
because he had a lot of things that I kind of knew but weren't public, and I think that she, they would talk about, whatever personal business.
Yeah. They really did connect. They really had a connection.
And I think it was the time too. The era was the right era for them too. Because Kiss was the hottest station. Hip hop was on fire at that time. You know what I mean? It was like the golden era, and it all just worked well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. I wanted to post something, but I felt like what I'm gonna say might take too long to get to the point. And I said I'd rather just dedicate. I'd rather dedicate my radio show to him. I'd rather talk about it and dedicate my show to him because he was radio.
Yes, he was.
He was definitely radio, and he was someone that everybody needed to remember and respect. Even though he was behind the scenes, but he did have a shift. He had some part-time shifts. He worked with Jonesy. He worked with Moni. He worked with everybody on the boards, Kiss and Hot. I even think he did CD 101 at one point. Did he work with Deborah Raff?
He may have.
Yeah, we all kind of touched all the stations, you and I, Trav. We all
a little bit of here and there. All over.
Yeah.
And he had his own show in Philly for a while. Remember that?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah. Rest in peace to him. Sleep in peace.
Yes.
Whatever you went through, you don't have to go through it anymore. You are with the angels. God is going to watch over you. And thank you for giving us some of your radio professionalism. Yes, professionalism and blessing us with your charm and your smile.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Professionalism.
One of a kind. One of a kind.
One of a kind. Thank you guys. I know it was last minute. I hit them up at like 6:15, 6:30. What y'all doing?
I don't understand that. At first I was like, damn, I got to be on camera and I got to draw this. Let me not be the oddball. Let me get with the times and get
I told Knowledge, and Knowledge was like, where would we do Streamline? I was like, I don't know.
Because I know
Mike Shannon with the technology. I don't think he has changed since I worked with him with production.
I'm a little better.
I was like, I don't know. When you said, can I call? I was like, yeah, let's just give him the phone number, because he's actually doing me a favor at the last minute. I remember those days when Mike Shannon used to get a bad script. Remember this, Trav? And he would get a script from sales, and it was the grammar was off, and there was a spelling.
What the fuck is this?
Yo, he would come in and slam the paper. I was like, oh Lord, he'll have his moment. I'll let him go off. He highlights. You can't even spell. And I just sit there and watch him. And once he calmed down, the script is immaculate. Like there was one take, boom. You're the only job that I know that do one takes.
Yesterday, everybody.
I used to love to give you everything, even though you would be pissed off. But I knew once I gave you the scripts, I don't got to do no editing. Just put that music. Ooh, nice sound effects. And I'm done. I'm out on time. I love my Bugsy, but when I had Bugsy, take it again. I mean, oh, God, I'll be here all night. But those were the fun days, though. I miss those days.
And I'm not just saying this because y'all are here. I mean this. You, Nat, and y'all are two of my favorite people. And
look, I made you my son's godfather. So
with a lot of people in radio, and you deal with a lot of fake ass people. You deal with haters. You deal with people that's just on that industry. Y'all have been the realest from like the first day I met y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to tell y'all that.
Oh, thanks, Trev. Mike Shannon and I always clicked from the very beginning.
We sure did. And Trev, I still call you Trev the intern.
Trev got 2 grown kids now. Well, guys, thank you again. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night.
All right.
And appreciate you. Everybody else, Majestic, what you got to play for us? What you going to play for us? And then we got to get into the gossip stuff.
All right.
Something. Okay. It's Digital Empire Nation Radio Show with Little Nat. Let's go. That was dope.